Assalamualaikum everyone, I hope you guys are doing well. So in this video, I'm going to cover something unique actually, and that is triangle construction. Now we are just going to solve past paper questions. The PDF that I will be using, basically all the past papers that I will be solving, I've compiled a PDF. I'll leave a link to it in the description. You can download it for yourself. So we don't have to learn concepts first. We're just gonna straight up start solving past paper questions because it's very easy. One thing that I would like to mention is that triangle construction is still part of our syllabus. Doesn't matter whether you're an O-level math or an IGCSE math student, it's the same. Loci has been removed from the O-level math syllabus. Okay, so if your syllabus code is 4024, it's no more part of the syllabus. For IGCSE students, it was removed a long time ago. I think it was removed in 2020, but now it's also removed from O-level. So skip those questions. You only have to solve questions where you're supposed to make triangles, and that's it. Okay, so what you need for this is a pair of compass and a pencil, a scale, and yes, a protractor. Okay, now I should mention before I start that it's taken me hours to get this whole setup ready, and I'm actually quite excited to test it out. So let me know what your thoughts are, by the way, in the comment section about the setup. If you like this video, then make sure to actually like it, and also subscribe to the channel in case you haven't. And let's start. So first of all, tip number one, when you're setting up your compass, make sure that the pencil and the pointed side of the compass, they're at the same level. Okay, and this is a fancy compass, I know, but make sure that you're using a small pencil. Okay, the one that comes in the geometry box. So something like this, number one. Number two, make sure that your pencil is sharp. And number three, make sure that you have a pencil on the side so that you don't have to take this pencil out again and again when you have to make a straight line and everything. Another thing that I would like to mention before I start is that when you are printing this out, make sure that the scale that you set it to, before you print, it asks you for the scale. So make sure that it's not fit to size. That's what it usually is. I'll try and attach a screenshot also. Make sure that you select 100% so that the lengths, whatever they're meant to be in the exam or in the paper, in the question, they print to be exactly the same. So if the line is 7 centimeters, when you print it out, it should still be 7 centimeters. And this will happen when you make sure that the size is at 100%. So with that said, let's start. And this is the first question. Let's see what it says. Triangle ABC has sides AB, which is 40 meters, BC, which is 25 meters, and AC, which is 35 meters. Okay. Using a scale of 1 centimeter to represent 5 meter, construct triangle ABC. The construction must be completed using a ruler. So that means right here, and a compass only. All right. Now notice that the line AB has already been drawn, and this AB is supposed to be 40 meters, and the scale that we're given is 1 centimeter equals to 5 meters. So that means using simple ratios, we can see that if 1 centimeter, I'm going to do this on the side here, if 1 centimeter is equal to 40 meters, then, if 1 centimeter is equals to, by the way, another tip, make sure that you have an eraser as well, which goes without saying. Then 40 meters must be represented using X, and if you cross multiply, you'll get 8 centimeters. So that means this line must be 8 centimeter long. Let's see if that's the case. Yep, it is exactly 8 centimeter. Now, notice we're not given any angles. So what do we do when we don't have any angles? Well, first of all, let's find out the lengths that we're supposed to, the length of the line that we're supposed to draw. Now BC is 25 meters. That means if I divide it by 5, that's going to be equal to 5 centimeters. So that means the line BC, whatever it may be, is going to be a 5 centimeter long line, and the line AC is going to be a 7 centimeter long line. Now this is a scenario where no angles are given, only lengths are given. What do we do in that case? Use your compass, open it to 5 centimeters. Okay, so I'll try and make sure that you guys can also see it. So this is, as you can see, this is 4. Let's open it a little more. So this is 5 centimeters now. Now this is length BC. That means from B, there's going to be a line which is 5 centimeters. Now I don't know what the angle is going to be, but I know the length of the line is going to be 5 centimeters. And since we don't know the angle, what we're going to do is we're just going to make an arc 5 centimeters away from B. That means somewhere on this arc will be the point C. Okay, now be generous with your arc, as in don't just make a tiny arc, make sure that you extend it. Now, not enough that you make a circle, but just be generous. Then AC, that means from this point there's going to be a line which is going to be 7 centimeters. So once again, since we don't know any angle, we're just going to use a compass, and we're going to open this compass to 7 centimeters. Here we are, and we're going to keep it at A, and we're going to make an arc. Now, where is exactly point C? Point C is where the two arcs intersect. Why? Because this point fulfills both the conditions. That is, it's 5 centimeters away from B and it's 7 centimeters away from A. And now we can finally go ahead and complete the triangle. And there you go. That's it. Job done. Question number 1 solved. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Very similar to the previous question. Using a ruler and compass only, construct a triangle with sides 5 centimeters, 6 centimeter, and 7 centimeter. So no biggie, we can solve this question. Now let's open our compass to 5 centimeters. The 5 centimeter line has already been drawn. Okay, so we're not going to do that. So we're going to open our compass to 6 centimeters. Actually, let's do 7 first, because the compass is already open to 7 centimeters. Now we're not given any points, so nothing to worry about. We're just gonna use one of the 2 points as reference and make an arc 7 centimeters away. Now let's open it to 6 centimeters. Here you can see it is now 6 centimeters, and now we're going to place the compass here and we're going to make an arc. So there you go. This is where the third point is going to be, and we're not supposed to label it or anything, so we're just going to leave it as it is. Complete the triangle. Try and be as accurate as possible. And there you go. This is a triangle with lengths 5, 6, and 7 centimeter. Now here's another interesting question. Let me first see if it's in the frame. Yeah, it's in the frame. The line AB is one side of an equilateral triangle. Okay, equilateral triangle, and we're not given any length. Using a straight edge and compass only, that means using a scale or a compass only, construct triangle ABC. Now, here's what we're going to do. We don't even have to bother and measure what the length of line AB is. All I have to do is just measure it, as in not find out what the value is, as in just make sure that my compass is open to the same length as the length of line AB. Make an arc over here. So the second line of the triangle is going to be somewhere on this arc, and then place the pointed side on the other point, point B, and make an arc once again. So that way what happens is that the third point, point C, is going to be somewhere on this arc, and this point is equidistant from B and from A. And that is why it is naturally going to be an equilateral triangle. There we go. So notice we didn't even have to measure, and we are still able to make an equilateral triangle. That's it. Question solved. Now, this is no more part of the syllabus. Okay, this used to be part of the syllabus. It's no more. It's loci. However, part B, which I think you can see now, is still part of the syllabus. So let's see what this says. Draw two different triangles, XYZ, in the space below, which have angle XYZ equals to 40 degrees and angle XZ equals to 5 centimeter. Now, interesting, we're given the same piece of information, and using the same piece of information, we're supposed to make two different triangles. How does that work? Let's find out. XYZ equals to 40 degrees. That means this angle XYZ is going to be 40 degrees. Now we're going to place our protractor over here. We're going to measure 40 degrees. Now at this point, I'd like to mention something. I'd like to clear something out, that we see two 40 degrees. Okay, so this is a common question that students ask. Well, should I take this 40 or should I take this 40? Okay, it's a funny question. I find it funny. Why? Because it's going to be an acute angle, so it must look like an acute angle. But you know, if that's something, I understand in exam, there's a lot of pressure and your brain isn't working the way you'd like. So here's a simple tip. What is the line with the help of which we're measuring 40 degrees? It's line XY, correct? So we're going to start from the 0 that's lying on top of line XY. Okay, so here's one 0, here's another 0. So this line on this side, we don't have the line with the help of which we're measuring. So we're going to measure it with the help of the 0 that's on line XY. And from that, we're going to start counting or start measuring. And this is 40 degrees. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a line, since we don't know what the length is. Actually, we don't know what the length is, but for now, let's make a line of random length. Okay, and in order to make sure that it's 40 degrees, make sure that it lines up. The 2 points, point Y and the point that you've just marked, line up on the line. Okay, try and use a sharp pencil. My pencil was sharp, but it's not anymore. So somewhere on this line is angle Z. Okay, I said earlier that we don't know the length. Actually, we don't. The length that we know is from x to z. Okay. Now, here the question says that xz is equals to 5 centimeter. Now, 5 centimeter means that we're going to open our compass to 5 centimeter and we're going to make an arc. Now, notice why the question is asking you to draw two triangles is because of the following reason. Now, if I make an arc, then this arc intersects this line once. Then if I carry on, notice something interesting happens. The arc intersects the line again. Now, how do I know whether this point is Z or this point is Z? And both of them could be Z. Why? Because it's at a 40-degree angle, number one. And number two, it is still, both these points are 5 centimeters away. That is why the question is asking you to make two different triangles, right? So we are first going to consider this point and we're going to complete a triangle. Let's call this Z1. And for this question, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to measure 40 degrees starting from the line XY. Here it is. We're going to make a line of a random length. Tip number, I don't know, I've lost track of how many tips I've given. Always use a scale to make a straight line. Okay, why? Because your protractor sometimes has this weird cut in between, due to which it may not be a straight line. Now this is still open up to 5 centimeters. I don't need to check it again. So I'm going to keep the pointed side fixed at Z and I'm going to make another arc. I know this time that I want the other point, so I don't need to be very generous with my arc. It should be just enough so that it intersects this line. And now you can draw the other triangle. And there you go. This is the second possible position of Z, so we're going to call it C2. So I hope this question is also clear. Now let's move on and see what the next question says. This is, I think, a question which deals with bearing also. Now let's see what this says. Use a ruler and compass only to, okay, now you guys can see what I'm reading. Use a ruler and compass only to complete the scale drawing of triangle ABC. Use a scale of 1 centimeter to represent 1 kilometer. So that means if this is a 9 kilometer, this in actual is 9 kilometers, this must be 9 centimeter, this must be 8 kilometer, this must be 5 kilometer. Now since we don't know the angle, no, that's fine, not a problem. We're just going to open our compass to 8 centimeter. So let's do that. This is open up to now 8 centimeters. Here you can see, keep it at point B. Make an arc, and like I said, be generous with your arc. Now we're gonna change the size of the compass to 5 kilometer, which means 5 centimeter, give as per the scale that's given. So now we're gonna make an arc from point A, and we're gonna be just generous enough so that the two arcs intersect. As you can see, all this is kind of redundant. But it doesn't matter, I'm not going to erase it or anything. So let's complete the triangle and we get something like this. There we go. This is point C. Then the question says, measure the bearing of C from B. Now if you know bearing, you know that this is the angle which we have to measure. Okay, from B, we make a north. We start in a clockwise direction till we reach the point. Measure the bearing of C. Yeah, so we make a north after the word or wherever the question says from. So it's from B, so we make a north at B. We don't have to do that. And we move in a clockwise direction till we don't reach the line that's joining B and C. And how do I measure this angle? Here's how you should measure this angle. So place your compass in such a way that the 0 lines up on the north. So here we go. Yeah, now this is the angle that we want. So this is approximately 124, I would say. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with 124. Let's be sure. Yeah, 124 degrees. So there we go. Here we write the final answer, which is 124 degrees. There's always a little room for error. Like for example, if the actual answer is 123, you may be given a range of 121 to 125, okay, plus minus 2 degrees. That doesn't mean that you can be casual about it. That just means, so I mean, that's just as you know, it's just a benefit that you have, but don't think that you can be casual about your working because of that. Now here's another question. It says construct triangle ABC in which BAC equals to 40 degrees and AC is equals to 8 centimeters. C is above line AB, which is drawn for you. Now, you know, that's an important point. How do I know whether C is going to be here or here? C must be above the line AB, or I mean, it could be above the line AB, it could be below, but because the question says, that means it must be above the line AB. Now, let's see what's the information that we have. BAC is equals to 40 degrees. That means this is going to be at 40 degrees. Now this time, because the 0 is on the line AB, which is on the right, so we're gonna start counting from the right. So 40 degrees, that means it's going to be somewhere over here. Now we know what the length of this line is, but you know what, I'm not gonna worry about what the length of this line is. I'm just gonna make a random line. You can, however, make sure that it's 8 centimeter, as in you can stop over here, but you know, that will make it a lot of things to watch out for immediately from the get-go. So instead, what I would do is I would first just make a line of random length, and then I will use my compass, open it to 8 centimeters, keep it at point A, make an arc, and now automatically I know that the point where the arc cuts the line is 8 centimeters. So this is where point C must be, and now you can go ahead and complete the triangle, and you get 2 easy marks, right? So that's that. Let's move on and solve the final question. I saved the final question for the last. Let's see what this says. Find by measurement the bearing of W from X. Okay, now you guys can see what I'm reading. Find by measurement the bearing of W from X. So that means we're gonna start from the north at, W from X. So that means we're going to start from the north at X, and we're going to measure the angle in a clockwise direction. Now, can we do that? Let's see. Can you measure this angle? There's no way you can do that. So, but instead, what you can do is the following. What you can do is this. You can place your compass in such a way so that the north lines up. Okay, the north lines up at 0. And let me explain this again. This is the angle that we're supposed to measure. Okay, we can't do that because it's going to be more than 180 degrees, and the maximum angle that we can measure with the help of this is 180 degrees. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to measure this angle, and I'm sure you know enough angles by now that if you can measure this angle, you can subtract it from 360 to find out the other, to find out the reflex angle basically. So this angle, as you can see, is 280 degrees. It's exactly, it's 80 degrees, not 280, it's 80 degrees. So if this angle is 80 degrees, that means the angle that we're supposed to give, the bearing, is going to be 360 minus 80, which is equal to what? 280 degrees, is it? Is this paper 1, paper 2? Well, it's paper 2, but we don't need a calculator for that. It's 280 degrees, okay? Now, hotel Y is 40 kilometers from W, and it's 37 kilometers from X. Now, if you go back to the question, this is something I don't think I read earlier, but the scale that we're given is 1 centimeter to 5 kilometers. Now, if hotel Y is 40 kilometers from W, that means if 40 divided by 5, it's going to be an 8 centimeter line, and if it's 37 kilometers from X, so 37 divided by 5, that's going to be 5 7s are 35, 7.4, it's going to be 7.4 centimeters from X. Okay, so we have to make a triangle keeping these conditions in mind. And also, if you read the question further, it says given Y is the furthest south. That means of these two hotels, Y is the furthest south. So that means Y is not going to be over here, Y is going to be somewhere over here. Okay, why? Because it's supposed to be on the south. Construct the position of Y on the diagram. Now, okay, remember what I said? Since the question says that Y is the furthest south, you could argue, well, what if I make Y over here? Well, you can't do that. Y is supposed to be over here only because the question says so. Now, we have the lengths 8 centimeter and 7.4 centimeter. Let's use your compass and open it to 8 centimeters. I think it may already be open to 8 centimeters from the last question. Yep, that's correct. So we're going to keep the pointed side at W. All right, we're going to keep the pointed side at W, and we're going to make an arc. There we go. Be generous with your arc, as always. Now we're supposed to, this is where the hotel, this is basically hotel Y from W. Okay, this is how far hotel Y is from W. Now the same hotel Y is also going to be 7.4 centimeters from X. So we're gonna open our compass to 7.4 centimeter. 7.4 centimeter. Be careful, don't be too casual about it. This looks 7.4 centimeter. Yeah, let's double check. Yep, this looks 7.4. Now we're going to keep the pointed side at X, sorry, the pointed side, and we're going to make an arc. So the point where the two arcs intersect is basically where hotel Y is. And there you go. Let's join the points, make a triangle. Does the question say that we have to? The question doesn't say that. Okay. Interesting. The question doesn't say that, so you don't have to make a triangle. Okay. Well, now that I've started, might as well finish it. But you weren't supposed to make a triangle. But there we go. We have found hotel Y. Congratulations. Now let's talk about part C. In part C, we're supposed to find another hotel. The bearing of hotel Z from W is 72 degrees. So that means from Z. Wait. The bearing of hotel Z from W, yeah. So we're going to measure an angle of 72 degrees and Z is due north of X. Okay, if it's due north of X, that means here is X. It's going to be somewhere on this line. So what I can do is I can immediately extend this line, because if it's north of X, that means it's going to be vertically above this point. So somewhere on this point, we'll have hotel Z. And how will I find out the exact position of hotel Z? Here's how I'm going to do it. We know that the bearing of hotel Z, as you can read over here, is 72 degrees from W. So we're going to open our compass to 72 degrees. Remember what I said, don't be too casual about it. So we're going to start from the 0 that comes on this line. So here's 70, 71, 72. And now we're going to draw a straight line just long enough to intersect the north that I've extended. And this point is where hotel Z is. Okay, you know what? Let me write that again. This is hotel Z. All right, so I guess that's it. Let's see what the question says next. Then the final part says, by making an accurate drawing, mark the position of Z on the diagram. So once again, we were only supposed to mark it. We didn't have to make the triangle, but you know, if you have, nothing to worry about. Find the actual distance between Z and X, actual distance. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure this angle, this length, sorry. This, as far as I can tell, is 5.5. I'm going to go with 5.5 or 5.6. Let's go with 5.5. Okay, so it's 5.5. All right, now this is 5.5 centimeters. We're supposed to find the actual length, so that means we have to multiply it by the scale that was given to us, which is 5. So 5.5 into 5 is 25. 25 plus 2.5, that's 27.5. So 27.5 kilometers is how far hotel Z is from X. That's what the question says. That find the actual distance in kilometers between Z and X, okay, and it's 5.5 centimeter, which means in actual it's 27.5. And that's it. That is the end of this question and also the end of this video. So I hope you now have a clear understanding of how we make triangles using angles, using just lengths, and also using just bearings. Let me know what your thoughts are about this video and about the whole setup. I hope this was easy for you guys to understand how you're also actually supposed to solve these questions. That's what the whole idea was, to solve it in a way that you would also be able to solve. And that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.